Freedom is not allowed here. Wait, do I have intelligence? Hey, this. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, will it... Did it do it? I'm a bit tired, but other than that, it's going well. I hope you guys are well also. Okay, so apparently it did update it. I might as well just pin that one. There you go. Tacos. That's actually really good. Well, yeah, this is Ubuntu. I'm typing. There you go. Holy crap, this is slow. Why is it so slow? You don't know what a refugee is. Wait, what? Why is the... Huh? God damn it, Linux, are you doing some shit in the background again? Okay, now it's somewhat responsive. Oh, that's me that can't spell. Why are you... Huh. How many stable channels does it have? Holy shit. So apparently there's still people maintaining 2017 version of this one. Holy fuck. Oh. Oh, for fuck's sake, why do I have to do this? search engines. We want... do they have a fucking calendar bug again? Please tell me that's a lie. Yeah, so it's where for some fucking weird reason to save memory in quotes, they stop supporting dates after a certain time. So we had that in the year 2K. So they were like, yeah, this software is not going to be used after 2000. There's no reason to build in support for anything after, like, any date after 2000, which can then end up basically breaking everything. Because dates are used a lot in programming. Oh, we even have Chrome OS in here. Okay, what is good old Linux at? Doink, 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 doink. Wait, it went up? No, it's the same. I think it's the same. Yeah, the year of the Linux desktop have arrived. Man, we should make a dedicated a dedicated live stream just for him. Linux sucks, leave me alone. Nope. Where is PewDiePie? Or the pews have not given us any more users. But what's happening with this towards? I haven't looked at this in forever. Yeah, level 2 DIPI, yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, Deepin. Oh, everyone's favorite Chinese distribution. Oh, well, that's Red Hat. I'm sorry about that. Red Hat is everyone's favorite Chinese distribution. So when Deepin came out, they actually liked it quite a lot. Like, a lot. China is really good at user experience development. Like, really good. But why does every Linux distribution have to copy Windows or Mac OS? Why can't they be unique and do their own thing? Like, they want to sit on Mac and Windows so much, but almost every desktop environment is a carbon copy of Windows and Mac. It's actually a neat distribution if you're, like, dare to run it. It's actually really, really good. Like, can we get to their website? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. It's the thing with people that they think they are more. Oh, sorry. It's the thing where people think that they are more interesting than they really are. Let's be honest. And I'm talking about the general public here, me included. Nobody wants your credit card because you don't have any fucking money, okay? Nobody wants your social media accounts because you have no social media influence, okay? You are not doing anything that's worth hacking. Like, you're not working for the National Security Agency or anything like that. The reason why they are hacking you is because they hope that you are one of those, but they're not. And they're not targeting you specifically. They are socially naming thousands of people at once to get a few little pennies out of as many as people as possible, or find that one unique little snowflake that actually do work from the National Security Agency, or have a lot of money in the bank, or have a big social media following they can catfish other people into and get money from. You don't fucking matter. Period. And I'm sick and tired of people think that they are fucking spies from the NSA or something like that, and they need to fucking locally encrypt their testicles and unencrypt every time they go and pee, because oh my god, if someone took their urine and by that they could then get their passwords for their porn collection, where it turns out that they are really, really into furry porn. I'm looking at you, by the way, Pirate Software. Yeah, people need to get over themselves. Most YouTubers need to get over themselves. Yeah, Linux is the best ever. Linux is so good. Really good. It's the most amazing OS in the world. People are flocking. PewDiePie got millions of people to use Linux. By that I mean they actually dropped like a fucking percentage after he announced that he's using Linux. You have encrypted urine, so you can think. I think you're drinking the urine. Pirate Software. So he's angry because apparently it has been released that he is. How can I say this without getting demonetized? So he's a furry, which you don't get demonetized for that, but he's also borderline into kinky activities with animals. He gets turned on by certain animals' reproductive organs. And he's role-playing that with, or wants to role-play that with another guy. Which is fine, like, guys can do whatever they want. It's the animal kind of thing that's a little bit, a little bit concerning. And then you think about that he, on top of that, has an animal rescue farm. And he gets turned on by animals' reproductive organs. There is a few videos out about him at the moment, where one of his ex-lovers, or I think you would call it ex-lover, or ex-romantic interest, or what you will call it, doxed him. Like, that person is also batshit crazy. They're both batshit crazy. Like, massively batshit crazy. All age 11 or younger, yep. They all playing that good old Minecraft. They wanna be hackers, yeah. Password, no, it's password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he didn't say it. One of his ex, like I said, romantic interest outed him because he got rejected by him. It's basically just a lover spat, or whatever you will call it, that turned into internet drama. And yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with you fucking another guy or dressing up as whatever you want to dress up at. It's like if you are talking about things you would like to do with animals. That's where it's like, now we are getting into the area where we may have to call the cops. Hey, sex gaming. PewDiePie. I love Felix. PewDiePie is an amazing dude. He's misunderstood a lot. And here's the thing. This is what really gets me. If people actually watch the video and listen to what he says, the last 5 minutes, he even stated in a lengthy dialogue that Linux may not be for everyone, and he only likes it because he likes to tinker. He's basically saying that it's for a unique set of people. But they just glaze over that like they're glazing over OnlyFans girls. Mac's an amazing place. Well, I try to be... I don't give a... I'm so fed up with the Linux community because I'm so tired of giving a fuck... people give a fuck about what other people do. You know? Well, I actually I main Windows now. I use Mac every day, but I main Windows. I just spent like 5 hours developing on my Windows development laptop. I use my MacBook Air more than my Mini, but my main system is my gaming rig now. But I am debating going... I switched between Windows and Mac OS so I spent like 6 months on Mac OS and 6 months on Windows. I can't like kind of decide, to be honest, which one I want to be on. And it's mostly work-related stuff. Because had I not had the job I had, I'd probably not even have a Windows machine, to be honest. It would be Linux and Mac OS. Exactly, Eeps. Nobody gives... well, people do, but nobody should give a fuck what OS you use. Is Ghosty on a Mac? When can I use proprietary software? Whenever you want. I need to open the window because it's getting a little bit hot in here. Yeah, if you're not a gamer, or if you're gaming on a console, you don't get a better value for money than a Mac Mini or a MacBook Air. Yeah, that's what I thought also, Eeps. Yeah, so my tier system of OSs that I like to run this is now. Mac OS is number 1, Linux is number 2, Windows is number 3. I just have to main Windows because of my work. Yeah, Scooby, yeah. Yeah, Sex Gaming, I'm with you on that one, man. Is it Mint, Ubuntu? What is that distribution, Eeps? Haiku tutorial, yeah. By the way, Scooby, go check out Eeps' channel. He does a lot of crazy shit. What have I opened here? Windows? Is it Windows? Gentoo? Like, I honestly really don't care because I'm not that fussed with Linux at the moment. Yeah. Slackware. Sorian. We can go over the list from this to watch, and then we can say bingo. Oh, is it is that fucking... What is that Russian distribution called? Oh, what is it called? Yeah, sex gaming, yeah. Deepin is Chinese. Elementary OS. Oh. That kinda makes sense to some degree. Yeah, that main dev got really angry over PewDiePie shilling Linux. I love Mac OS, so no, it's not a shill. Red Star OS, that's North Korea, if I'm not mistaken. So I tried Elementary OS on my laptop, and it's shit. It's fucking collective marbles. It did not want to do anything. Well, it worked, but it was like really janky as fuck. Astro OS. No, nothing is worse than Gorada Linux. It's like, those people are fucking mental. Oh wait, did I download IntelliJ? Let's see if it has everything I need. Because the developers that develop it is crazy. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, yeah. Cool. Thank you, Eeps. What is it doing? Holy crap, this is like locking my... It's locking Linux up. Oh, come on. You can do it. There you go, buddy. No, it's because the main developers for Gorada Linux is... If someone addresses a flaw with the system, they just disregard it and think they know better. They're kind of like the GNOME developers. Yeah, BSD is amazing. A similar topic was discussed to the video title, was discussed at my work. So, Viz, can you elaborate what you mean by that? Like, what were you discussing? Well, Light is like Max now? Are you fucking with me? Well, some rando, if you can install free BSD, you are now more computer literate than DistroTube is. Because he can't install free BSD. Unsupported source. What? Use source 9 or higher. What are you doing with me? Okay, so this one is definitely out of date. Oh, for real? Linus used to be really anti-Mac. They also... Oh. So there is a 24.0.1. Why don't Linux support that one? Is Linux behind with Java now? The fuck? It's something for work. I can't say it, Scooby. Oh, I'm just testing something with Java. Really, Command? Yeah, this, yeah. Mm. Yeah, place. That's the thing with Mac. The second you don't buy the base models, they get the value for money gets a little bit, it goes out the window. And a fun thing with reselling Macs, you actually get more money for the base models than you do with the ones that you have bought. The model not supported in source. It's probably because oh, god damn it. It is a fashion statement, but it's fucking good though. Yeah, there's some fucking Java problems. No, it's because Linux is running a really outdated version of Java. It's not even installed. So the Java runtime environment is not even installed. Oh, I shouldn't. Can I not spell? Yeah. So you can, yes, Command. You can read, and you can write to NTFS on Linux. Yes, you can. You can write it, you can mount to it, and stuff like that. Oh, it's because I'm just a massive fucking dickhead. There you go. Yeah, Linux have NTFS support for like a decade. Over a decade. Or 15 years now, I think. Come on. So it's janky as fuck. The support is there, but it sometimes corrupt the file system. Well, NTFS is as good as ext4. BTRFS or ButterFS is a totally different kind of philosophy of how to do a file system. So BTRFS, corporate, ext4, NTFS. Well, NTFS can also be used in a corporate world, but NTFS is mostly, or ext4 should only mostly be used for private users. Blah, blah, blah. Da da da. It's just easier to just download it from the website. Yeah, but that's because OpenSUSE is mainly a corporate distribution. It's not really meant for a desktop. Yeah, BTIFS has a lot of data validation, rollbacks, and stuff like that. Where are we in the world? I don't know if they're getting rid of Yast. I haven't looked into that. I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea. Installed. Okay, let's see if this works. We may need to restart the application. Yeah. Yeah. EV, you too, man. Yeah, I'm trying to live stream as much as possible nowadays. And then I upload like 1 or 2 videos a week. Because I'm getting fed up with Linux, I'm getting tired of Linux. Why are you bitching? Thanks, Scooby. I did my proprietary. Well, this is proprietary software, so you're getting proprietary software. PowerShell is amazing. Why do I have to do... So, here's the thing. Under Windows or Mac OS, all I had to do is install JDK and all this tool, and I can develop Java. I have to do all of this bullshit to get Java development going in Linux. So, fuck that. So, no, I'm on Windows. I'm streaming from Windows right now. Yeah, you did, Scooby. And I use Mac on the side and Linux on the side. Is it advanced? I can't remember where they had. I could probably just search it. Java. No, I have my own script. I built like a handful of programs that I'm about to make a video about for Windows to do things better than what he does. It was difficult to set up JavaFX on Linux. Used it for... Really? Well, he is a massive Microsoft what's it called? Microsoft MP. What is it? What is it now? MVP? What is it? What is the thing he's like? MCSE, MCP or something like that. Yeah. Certified professional. Let's try and what the fuck am I doing? Let's make a new one. Yeah, it's Microsoft Certified Professional, yeah. Let's just try good old fucking... Let's try that one. Okay, that works. But Marvin should like just download all the repositories and everything. Oh, now it's working. Yep, we just needed to fucking download the ADK, I guess. Yeah, I know Element Saviors really like their flat packs. No, I mean Windows for my development platform. Because 99% of all development I do is for Windows. It's only if I'm going to do multi-platform applications, then I do it on Mac OS. I just want to see how easy it was to set up JavaFX on Linux. Just for fun. Rate my experience. It depends on the coding language that you're going to use. Yeah, that's where you find OpenAI's API key. Yeah. Volume, I think it's just it should not be, because this is Linux also. I don't know. So Windows do have multiple workspaces though. It does look. It's not the Windows is not the place, but you do have virtual desktops. Yeah, it depends on what coding language you're talking about. But I will say this, funny enough, that on average, I probably have spent more time setting up development environment on Linux than any other OS. Where it's on Mac OS, it's super easy to get into development, like super easy. On Windows, you may have to download and install like an exe file and just run that, and it sets everything up for you, and you're ready to go. On Linux, you sometimes have to fuck around with config files to get it to work. Sometimes. But I will not say one is like... When you get it up and running, it don't matter what OS you're developing on. Hey, Ham Radio. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, but when you have everything set up, I don't... you've been busy, that's good. It's always good to be busy, man. Like, let's say I do IntelliJ stuff. with Java, I really don't feel any different if I'm on Mac OS, Windows, or Linux. The only thing that's different is the path. So if you're working with file system path. So they're the same with Mac and Linux, but not with Windows. Other than that, it's the same. I don't see anyone running specifically faster or better or anything like that. I will say a lot of programs, like UI elements, look natively better on Mac OS than any other OS. So the default style looks better on almost any programming language, better on Mac OS than any other system. On Windows, it looks really bad. On Linux, it looks kind of okay. But on Mac OS, almost all defaults looks really good. Like, they look almost native. Yeah, Linux, a lot of developers like to overcomplicate things. Let's really fuck people up. Wait, remember our last conversation? It did? Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, this is the one. So what you need, a good thing is that you use the OS checker in Java, and then you make a program that just, I don't know, take the date and time from the system and print it out on different OSs in a window, and you can see how crazy it is. Okay, so the Danish government are not going to use Linux and LibreOffice. It's one department, and it's 50% of that department that are going to do a 6-month trial period to see if Linux is useful or not. And if it passes, the rest of said department in 2 cities, only 2 cities are going to use Linux and LibreOffice. That also means that if it fucks up for them, they revert back to Windows and OpenOffice. Not OpenOffice, Microsoft Office. So my city I live in is not going to use Linux. It's per city. It's a per city decision. Yeah, so a lot of articles from outside Denmark are getting a lot of it wrong. A lot of it wrong. And a lot of local journalists have asked the selective local cities, and so far it's only those 2 cities, and it's only one department in those 2 cities and 50% of the department. And the second they realize that LibreOffice don't have a lot of those shared working capabilities, they are going back to, at least they're going back to Microsoft Office. Because what they do with Microsoft Office, like working more than one person on a document, sharing with SharePoint and all of that fucking shit, integration with Power BI, yeah, Linux have none of that. None of that. So if they want to use that, which 99% of all organizations want to use, yeah. You also have to remember, Denmark have no fucking clue what they're doing in the government when it comes to IT. So in the mid to late 2000s, so 2000, they wanted to get away from Microsoft in the unemployment department. Okay? So their brilliant plan was so far this. Let's use OS 2, WAP 3 or 4. That was like almost 10 years unsupported at that point. And let's give Sweden, listen, Sweden, hundreds of thousands of crowns to build a management software for the unemployment department that took them almost a year to build. So here's the kicker. They were running an outdated OS. So they needed old computers because it was a 32-bit computer, not 64-bit system. OS2 was not never... was it a 60? Anyway, there was some compatibility issues. So they had to use really old computers to run the OS. And not only that, nobody really knew how to work with OS2. But because they were running old computers, it was slow as fuck. The software we got from Sweden barely fucking worked. Like, at all. It crashed all the time, it took way more... It was such a big debacle that the Danish population almost went into fucking riot over the amount of money they wasted on it. So, after 2 or 3 years, they scrapped all of that fucking shit and went back to Windows. So I have no fucking... Like, anything the Danish government say they're going to do when it comes to technology, I'm like... That's cute. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what's really going on. Because they make a... Here's what happened. They were sitting at a meeting department getting high on fucking weed and drinking Carlsberg all day. And some idiot's like, you know what? I can save you a shit ton of money. And then everyone is opening there. Tell me more, young boy. And this like high hipster is like, yeah man, ditch Microsoft license and use Linux and LibreOffice. And they're like, can it do everything we need it to do? Yes, it can. Okay, we believe you. Let's use it. That's 99% what happened. They didn't do any testing. They didn't do any preparation. They didn't do any research. Because those 6 months we're getting into now is the testing and research. That's where they figure out if it actually works or not. That's how the Danish government do shit. They get an idea, and without thinking about it, they just like, this sounds like a good idea because we can save some money. Just like a lot of Linux users do, I can save money. That's the only thing they hear. They don't think if it's actually possible. And most is because they don't want to upgrade to Windows 11 because they have to buy new hardware. And here's another thing. If the Danish government was so fucking intelligent with IT, it's so damn easy to install Windows 11 on unsupported hardware that it's not even funny. A 5-year-old can do, not a 5-year-old, a 5th grader can do it for them. Go out on the street and kidnap a 5th grader. They can install Windows 11 on all the unsupported Windows machines. All this is someone thought they had a good idea without thinking about it. And the Danish government do this all the fucking time. They make a change, a law or something like that, because they're like, this sound theoretically like a good idea, so let's do it. Yeah, 15-year-old computer running Windows 11, yeah. Look, this is how smart the Danish government is. You know rollerblades? You know, the one you stand on and, you know... For about 5 years, I think it was 5 years or even more, it was legal to rollerblade on a street, like on a fucking road. You could go on the highway on rollerblades. Think about this. And anyone, like a lot of people, like, dudes, this is going to kill people. No, nobody got hurt yet. So therefore, it's totally saved. And then, lo and behold, then a kid get killed, a mom and dad get killed, a family get killed. It's like, maybe you should only use the pavements. That is how stupid the Danish government is. They wait until something bad happens before they change direction. Even though there are hundreds of people, thousands of people telling them that this is a bad idea. Because for some reason the Danish government know more than you do. So yeah, it took about 5 or something people to die on rollerblades before they changed that. Not to speak about our current prime minister got investigated for fraud, but she basically pardoned herself. Basically made it so that investigation went away. That's our current prime minister. The Danish government have no fucking idea what they're doing. No idea. No fucking idea. If you pee on it, they think it's raining. You know, yeah, it is ironic it was for the unemployment department. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hanson, you guys did that. The Danish government is one big clusterfuck. Yes, there was a outrage over proprietary software laws, yeah. Would they get into legal problems with Microsoft if they did it for... Nope, not at all. The only thing you lose by installing Windows on unsupported hardware is the support. They may just say, well, you're running it on unsupported hardware, therefore we are not going to support it. But again, there are plenty of IT infrastructure guys out there that wouldn't mind getting paid to support Windows on outdated hardware. You know. Yeah, and ham radio, I think that's the main reason why they changed to it, is because that's one of the arguments they use, is that they don't trust the United States at the moment. Which is bullshit. The United States government had nothing to do with fucking Microsoft. But again, the Danish politicians don't know what they're doing. Like, they are batshit fucking crazy. That's why I hate Danish politics. I hate Denmark. We are almost as bad as Canada. Exactly, it's COPC. Yeah, a fifth grader can bypass Windows requirements. Yep. Yeah, rollerblading lanes were not, but it's bicycle lanes, if you think about it. Well, most people actually can't use LibreOffice. Most offices can't use LibreOffices. Because it lacks a lot of features that they're using in Microsoft Office. Yeah, I bet it is, Hamrid. Most politicians are like that, sadly enough. Exactly, Scooby. Oh yeah, the rollerblading was fucking amazing. Oh. Well, she bought some furnitures for her apartment, I think it was, and never paid them. So she bought them on a debit card, or she lended them money but never paid them back. And I think she also got some of her friends out of debt or something like that. I can't remember it totally, but yeah, she basically covered up fraud. You know. Yeah, just use Rufus, yeah. I think Germany did something with Linux also, yeah. So it's your PC. It's not so much the compatibility. It's like project sharing, cooperation sharing. And if they're using other Microsoft products like Power BI and stuff like that is integrated super into the Office suite, LibreOffice is not. So that means that they can't take a lot of, can't do a lot of automation. They can't take a lot of statistics. They can't cooperate with each other and stuff like that. Like, I would understand if let's say the Danish government came out and said, all our infrastructure, so servers, databases, is going to be moved over to Linux. That would make so much more sense. So much more sense. I'm almost sure that every government nowadays use like a lot of those capabilities. PowerPoint, SharePoint and stuff like that. You can't use SharePoint with LibreOffice easily either. you know. So what people tend to forget with Microsoft, and a lot of IT professionals forget about this about Microsoft, is that it's not so much the individual program that they are relying on, it's the ecosystem. So if you take one program out, that whole ecosystem don't work anymore. And that is why Microsoft can keep them locked in, because they have a really, 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 really good ecosystem. But to get that to work, you have to use all their products. So they may use a lot of other Microsoft in an ecosystem, but they think like, oh, Office is just an Office suite. We can do that with LibreOffice. Then they plug Microsoft Office out, and they figure out all of this extra work they now have to do. But again, I don't know what department it is. They could just be like, let's say, accountant department or something. Like, it could just be small departments that don't use SharePoint and Power BI and all that shit. Like, it could just be that. But yeah, a lot of... and also, I don't fucking think they will... I honestly... So if I'm being totally honest... Like, if I'm being totally honest right now, I think the reason why those two cities are moving over to Linux and LibreOffice is 100% purely political incentive. Or not political incentive, politically driven. Because Denmark is a super liberal country, okay? Like, most politicians in Denmark don't like Trump. And I think they're doing this as a political statement against Trump. That's honestly what I think is going on. And then they are going to cost the government a lot of money because they are doing that. They're also going to make the employees' work days more difficult to do that. Just because they want to say fuck you to Trump. But here's the thing. Microsoft don't give a fuck what Denmark do with their Office suites. They have billions of other customers. The America don't give a fuck about what Denmark do. But I honestly think it's just like a political fuck you. Which it should not be. Because Microsoft has nothing to do with the government. Or almost nothing to do with the government. When it's not Trump's behavior. So here's the thing. For a lot of Danish politicians, Trump can't do... Even let's say Trump saved a baby, they will morph it into be something awful. Because that's how politics is. That's how politics is. Yeah, but Microsoft do that really, really easily, conveniently, from its software. You don't have to set things up. It's already there. Because you have to integrate WebDev into SharePoint and all that fucking shit. What you're describing now is adding extra configuration to an already existing, not complicated, but irritating workflow. No, Danish language don't have a good spelling, no. There is workarounds for almost anything in open source. But you have to say to yourself this, work around. So that means more work, more instabilities, or more potential security risk, more potential breakage. Because you're not using it as intended, you are working around it. You know, you're not directly using it directly, basically. That's why you should never try to do workarounds. Workarounds is something you do if you have no other option. then you work around stuff. You know, it's in the word, a workaround. But let's say that's not that big of a problem. What about Power BI? What about 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, other departments working and cooperating on a document? You know. Thanks for censoring. What did I censor? I think most governments have their own cloud services. But it's always built on some other people's cloud service. Oh. It's a big nothing burger, basically. And it's just done because some politicians don't like what another politician is doing or what they stand for, and yeah, it's... Denmark is like, politically Denmark is a fucking mess, and it's been it like the last 10 plus years. We are almost as bad as Sweden, ironically. So let me put in a statistic for you here. I think it's in 2050 or something like that. There will be more non-Swedish people living in Sweden than Swedish people. Because of the immigration laws. And how they allow, well, basically a lot of people to come up there, no matter how fucking awful they are. Sweden is basically almost getting overrun by immigrants now, and it's not the good ones. It's mafia types. Well, Sweden does it today, Denmark do it tomorrow. you know. I'm just like, it's just a matter of time, because it's we are a little bit more stricter than you guys are, but not a lot. Not a lot. Right now, because you guys are getting bombed, they're strictening it up a little bit, but they will relax it when it calms down. Because we have to put up that, outside image of being nice people and all that shit. Well, their market share it declined. Rebio, man. Like, it's on a decline. It is going up a little bit, but it's like, let's say it's stagnating. For all the problems the states have, I honestly don't think that they are spying on... using software to spy on. Well, they probably are, but... Well, fuck it, everyone is. OS 6 is OS 10. So it's Mac OS up till High Sierra, I think it is, or something like that. And Mac OS is Mac OS 12, 13, 14, and 15 and up. So OS X is the old Mac OS is the new one. So you have to combine Mac OS X and Mac OS. It's because they started to gather the data differently for Mac OS. Yeah, Catalina could be the last one that's under Mac OS 10 then. Yeah, there is. Yeah. Well, there's a whole fucking open source community that makes it so you can install the latest Mac on Mac OS on old hardware. Here, they do it so you can install Mac OS on unsupported hardware. And it's a fucking clever system. Like I've used this a few times. They're supported models all the way down to 2008. Oh yeah, Scooby. Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah. Mac hardware can run Linux. Yeah, if it's an Intel base, it's way easier. So all this bullshit about Mac OS is so restricted, you can't do anything with it. People are hacked it in quotes to support 2007. We have some here iMacs. Place. I don't give a fuck about the redesign. It looks neat, don't get me wrong, but it's you know what? It is what it is. Yeah, they can run Archie or Archie Linux or what the fuck it's called. But yeah, this is an open source community. Archie, there you go. It's like, honestly, get like a Mac from 2015. You get them super cheap nowadays, and then install like a version of a newer, somewhat newer version of Mac OS on. It's a really fun project. And here's the thing: if you do that, you can sell it for quite a lot of money. But there are some things that may or may not work. You know, you may not get full speed on your Wi-Fi or something like that. It depends on what models you're using. You can see here you can go Sequoia, Sonoma, Ventura, Monterey, or Monterey. You can see here what newly dropped hardware. Like, they are really on top of it here. Troubleshooting. Like, it's super fucking interesting. It's their GitHub page. Yeah, you can use LibreOffice on it if you want to. Yeah, at some point your hardware is so slow that modern OSs just run as shit, like shit on them. Even Linux does. Yeah, again, this is what people don't understand. Linux, Windows, Mac OS get heavier, 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 and heavier. Like the minimum requirement for a long time for Linux was 1 core and 1 gig of RAM or something like, or 500 megabytes. Now it's like, what is it, like 2 gigabytes and 2 cores or 4 cores or something like that? What is like Ubuntu's minimum requirement? Four gig of RAM. a dual core and 4 gig of RAM. And yeah, well, we're talking about modern systems. But for better performance, they want... So basically, a quad core with 8 gig is like what you really should use to get like an okay experience. Yeah. But like in 2010, 13, 14, it will be 2 cores and 4 gig, and it will be running like a fucking jet machine. But so did Windows and Mac OS on same hardware. So, Scooby, don't deepload Windows unless you know 100,000% what you're doing, or you're just doing it at a VM for fun, because you are more than likely going to fuck something up and you don't know why stuff is stopped working again. A lot of people that have Windows problems is because they're deeploading Windows. Yes, you can install Windows 11 without a Microsoft account. You can either use Rufus to bypass it when you make the ISO, or you can use something called NT Lite, where you can go in and customize you can make your own Linux, or not Linux, Windows ISO. And in there you can customize it to heaven and back. So you can make it fully automated install. Like you can make it a totally automated install process. You can take away CPU requirement, RAM requirement. You can make it so you can bypass online. You can pre-install updates. You can pre-install software. You can pre-install driver support. All of these I use this a lot. So I like every 1 or 2 times a year I make like an ISO with this here that has the latest updates, bypass a lot of things, and blah 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 blah. The last one I did, Windows had some issues. There was a problem with the ISO. Windows had an ISO problem that I hope they're fixed now. So there's also a command you can put in during the installer where you can. It's like a out of the box experience, something OOB. Or something like that. Google it, how to bypass Windows account. Or how to bypass a Microsoft account. It will tell you how to do it. But this one here, this is like a fucking a lifesaver. This is a lifesaver. You can go in and customize it like... Yeah. Let me put it this way, you can customize it so much that it don't work anymore. So I've had people come into my Discord asking for help to fix their computer because his tool broke their computer. So you must be one of the lucky ones then. But I've heard a lot of people where his tools fucked up their system. Like a lot of people. Oh yeah, you can manage different versions of Windows. You can register integration editing. Hardware targeting, component removal, tweaks. Unattended setup. This is where you can go in and do a lot of... set up the time zone. If you have like a key, put that in there. You can even theme it from here. You can set it up so it automatically installed with dark theme and wallpaper. Like, I'm going to say something that right now, if you're a Linux fan, you are going to twist your nuts. This here makes Windows install 98% as customizable as an Arch Linux install. I'll say it again. Using this tool, you can customize Windows to 98% degree of you can customize Arch Linux. Maybe let's be generous and say 90%. Yeah, and that's because he's stupid enough to allow it in there. You should not allow. So here's the thing: if you're making a tool like that, you should not make it so it can break your system. That defeats the whole purpose of the tool then. No, like you can also like this can do a million times more things than Rufus can do. You probably can if you download a Windows server and stuff like that. This is a fucking amazing tool. Like, I can highly recommend this if you are a Windows user and you want to get away with, or you want Windows and you don't want all the bullshit. This is the tool for you. But like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, you can break the ISO. Like, this allows you to break the ISO. At one point, I was so stupid, I took away the creation of a user account. So it installed and everything, but you couldn't log on to it. Because it didn't create any standard user account or allowed you to create a user account. So Windows was there, but on the logon screen, it's just like, no known user account. You can't, we don't know this user account. Because it didn't allow you to make one. So it's so customizable that you can shoot yourself in the foot. So if you have company software, you can put that in there. Yeah, and Rabio, man. Here's what I'm trying to say again. That should not be possible with his tool. Because here's the thing. People that should fuck around in those areas of Windows should already know about how to fuck around in those areas of Windows, if you get what I'm coming at here. People that should not fuck around in those areas of Windows should not even know that you can do it. Like, if you put a tool out there that where you basically allow people to prick their system, you've done a bad design choice. You've done a bad tool. If it's for you and your friends in a dungeon after a fucking swinger party, that's a totally different conversation. But you don't put a tool up to the internet to people that you know a lot of them will not have that knowledge to know what they're doing. That easily allow them to shoot themselves in the foot, put their foot up their ass, and suck a cock. That's just stupidity 101. Because then you are the problem and not them. It would be like building a car that will kill people on purpose if they open the club box while they were, let's say, shifting into third gear. You don't build a tool for the average person that can fuck up their software. That is either only for you or something you only give out to people you trust. Other than that, it's just plain stupidity. And I get why he does it. It's because he wants to play smart. Look how smart I am. Look how intelligent I am. Not only did he build it in fucking PowerShell, which is like, that's like stupid number 2. You don't do that program in PowerShell. PowerShell is a scripting tool. You know. Like, I looked at his source code and we debunked his tool like a year or so ago. Yeah. So, ham radio, this tool here can do that for you. You can make an ISO that do this for you in this tool here. He should not even have an experimental. He should just have one version for everyone that don't break the system. And then some, like I said, have a version of it that he gives to people he trusts. You know. It's not that complicated. And here's the thing, ham radio, you don't have to pay for it. The free version do 99% of what you need it to do. It just comes up with a little bit more boxes. So when it's compiling the ISO, it asks you to click OK once in a while. That's it. Yeah, like you don't use a scripting language to build a program. Well, this tool here does what you can do with Active Directory. It's basically configuring I can't remember what it's called, but it configure a Windows build file or something. I can't remember what it's called. The thing with Chris Tiles Tech is that he's an infrastructure guy that wants to be a developer, apparently. But he has no fucking idea about development. Other than the basics. And I'm questioning how much he knows about infrastructure with the choices that he's making. If you want to feel like a hacker, you don't use PowerShell. You don't use, like, hackers don't use scripting languages, because then you're not a hacker, then you're a script kiddie. If you want to be a hacker, use a proper fucking tool for the job. And you could probably done it faster, quicker, and easier if you used Java or Python or any other fucking language than PowerShell. But anyway, I need to get something to drink, so masturbate amongst yourself until I come back, if you're... So I got a Pepsi Max with lemon flavor. I haven't had that in fucking forever, and I'm just like, oh, it's so good. But yeah, I'm sorry to say it. I know I rant a lot about Chris Tiles Tech stuff, but it's because most Linux YouTubers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's just a sad reality. They are just average Linux users that put on a facade and bullshit other Linux users into think they know more than they do. That's the problem I have with them. Is that they think they are or portray themselves as these experts in Linux. Had they just been honest about, like, you know, let's say Chris Tiles Tech is like, yeah, I made this tool. I really don't know much about what I'm doing. It's done in PowerShell because I don't only know PowerShell. It may work, it may not work. It's probably not the best program out there and stuff. Had he done stuff like that, I would have no problem with him. No problem. No problem. But it's like, oh, hey, this is the best tool, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm the fucking genius of geniuses. It's like, yeah, just twist your nuts a little bit. You don't have Pepsi with lemon? I thought it was like an American one. We have lime and lemon. So, but we don't. We also have cherry, but I haven't seen them in a long time. But the lemon one I kind of like, but I like the also the lime I like, but the lemon one is probably my favorite. And the cherry one, yeah, the cherry one gets too sweet. Oh, the mango is really good as well. Yeah, the mango. Oh, whoa. Mango. Ham radio, you're probably right, yeah. You're probably right, yeah. Yeah, Pepsi Mango is my favorite, yeah. That's my favorite. I love mango. You've not seen mango? What the fuck? I thought Pepsi was like massive in the States. What is blue Pepsi? Doop-a-doop-a-doo. I love this the video DistroTube made about installing FreeBSD. Where previous to that he made a lot of videos about how smart he was, and then he couldn't even get installed FreeBSD 100%. I think it was the Windows Manager he couldn't get up and running or something like that. Pepsi Electric, I think. But what is the flavor profile? It's really weird, yeah. Well, Pepsi Max is sugar-free, so... Oh, it's like a Powerade thing. I got you. Yeah, I actually do like Mountain Dew, but I can only have one. Like, it's too fucking sweet for me. Like, one or two, and then I'm okay. Like, it's like liquid diabetes, you know? I feel like I'm drinking a disease when I drink it. But they do taste okay. But I don't like too sugary drinks because I get like all clogged up in my throat. Sprite is really good, yeah. Yeah, we don't. I really want to try root beer. I think I only had ginger ale. I don't think I ever had a root beer before. But I do like ginger ale. Or is it root beer I had and not ginger ale? I can't. It's one of those two things. I can't remember. Mock. Yeah, but we can't. I've never seen the barnyard blast in Denmark at all. I've not seen that. The only Mountain Dew I've seen in Denmark is the normal one, and then I think it was like some other flavor. I can't remember what the fuck it was. No, I've not tried that one. Like, we have like besides like European sodas and stuff that we don't have much to choose from in Denmark. Yeah, I know it came out from Taco Bell. I remember Asmongold was trying to hunt it down at one point. Yeah, food is weird. Yeah, you have a lot of crazy food in America. I saw a video where a guy went into Costco or something like that, and there was an aisle, like a massive long aisle of food and food items that all of them were banned in EU. You could not get them in EU because of what was in them. There was that much, there was harmful chemicals in them. It was like a whole aisle on both sides. All of the food in there, or food items there, could not be bought in EU because of that. No, not try that one either, yeah. You're the CEO of FDA. The FDA, like, when it comes to food, the American government is so corrupt. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Costco pizzas, yeah. Like, everyone talks about the Costco, what is it, like the Costco meal, or what they call it, where you also get hot dogs and all that shit. So you can get a pizza slice and a hot dog, and... Like, that's one thing I really want to try, because I see a lot of people, even in Japan, they have that fucking shit. So they have Costco in almost... I think they have it in Germany, France, England, Spain, maybe. We don't have it in Denmark. We don't have it in Denmark. I think we are probably too small to have it, but I know it's super big in the UK. And I don't know if they have it in Germany. Or Poland, or... Like, I don't know where they have it besides... The only other place I've heard about it is in Britain. No, it's because Denmark, Sweden, and Norway are so small. Like, our whole population is less than a big city in the United States. So there's just too little... There's just too little people for them to think that it's viable. That's why we also don't have Amazon here. So if we buy from Amazon, it comes either from Sweden or from Germany. And in Sweden, it's mostly only because they have like a depot there. It's not really a store. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people like the Costco meals, yeah. But yeah, like, we just don't have the population. And also, like, not all, like, had we had all the population in one city, they probably would do it. But it's spread over, like, a decent-sized land. And then if you go to Norway and Sweden, it's even bigger land. You know? So not only are there not a lot of people, but they're spread out over a massive amount of area. So that means that, you know, there's a lot of transportation built into it also. Only in France and Spain, according to... Well, they're probably right then. I would have thought that they would have it in Germany. Germany is the most populated European country, though. Well, McDonald's is a small franchise. Like a McDonald's don't require much to open. Costco is massive. That's why they're so cheap, is they buy a lot of fucking shit and store it in one place. If we got a Costco in Denmark, it would probably be the biggest warehouse in the whole fucking country. The biggest single store in the whole country. And McDonald's is not that big, you know, like, they don't have a lot of inventory, basically. That's what I'm coming at. I never had that either. When the EU used to be part of EU. The UK used to be part of EU. Yeah, but it's all about the inventory size. I think we have like 2 IKEA in Denmark or something like that. 2. If even... I think it's 1 or 2, I can't remember. 2 or 3. It's not many. Again, because it's a big warehouse with a lot of stock. And if there's too many stores, there's too much stock than the population can consume. So you're overstocking. So that's why that if you get massive stores like that, we only get them like 1 or 2 places. Or else we have too much stock in one place. Yeah, again, EU, I know Costco is super popular in the UK, you know. Well, combined, that's why Putin got angry at you guys and invaded you, because you want to be part of the EU. Yeah, we don't have Jack in the Box either, which I really would love to have. But they would probably, half of their fucking menu would probably be illegal here anyway, so. Yeah, Whataburger, yeah, that would also be good to have that here, but again, probably never happen. Yeah, here a lot of people have problems with Jack in the Box. It's probably, Review man, it's the ingredients that they use. One pizza, I don't even think I think we have like, maybe we have a Pizza Hut in Copenhagen, maybe, I don't know. There may also be a Domino there. Or Domino's. Because I do know we have Domino's in Denmark. But I think it's only like in the top 3 cities or top 2 cities or something like that. I would love to try like a Chicago deep end pizza or just a Chicago pizza in general. Like, I really would. Who was it that got... I saw a YouTuber. He got... him and his family got flown in from Chicago, a Chicago-style pizza in like dry ice or something. It was frozen in dry ice. Or something like that. And I think he was living in the South. But that will not work to Denmark because it takes days to come to Denmark, you know. Hey, Benjamin. Yeah, here Pizza Hut is super popular. Like massively popular. But ain't Pizza Hut just like bottom of the barrel pizzas? Like, you know, they barely a fucking pizza. Hey, Lamer. Yeah, that's what I hear, Anton, that Pizza Hut is just like a little bit better than, you know, the frozen ones you get in a store. Has a leader in proprietary software. Well, I do use LibreOffice at work, so... So when are you going back to macOS, Lamer? On a Raspberry Pi, yeah. Gentoo versus Gulvada Linux, I will just use Gentoo. And you can get Gentoo distributions now where you don't have to compile everything, so... How the fuck does it annoy you? Yeah, Linux is okay on ARM devices. Yeah, Gurada is... Yeah, I stopped fucking around with Arch Linux a long time ago. The only thing I don't like about vanilla Mac OS is the window snapping. Everything else I'm fine with. Arch Linux. Yeah, I'm so over that. I'm over the fact that over the time where I want to be a system administrator for my own computer. Oh, go update, you fucking idiot, then. Go fucking update. Like, Sequoia is actually really good. Like, really good. And they fixed a lot of the snapping and stuff like that. Yeah, it is a pen testing distro, yeah. Oh, this Slim. I need a lot of these Slim on fucking Pepsis, man. I'm going to buy a lot of them tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just like, for me, Linux is a play OS. I can't take it seriously as a production OS. The only time I would run Linux, like all the time as a desktop OS, was if I was like maintaining Linux servers or developing Linux software. That's the only time I run it as a main OS. Or if I was a gamer and I didn't like Microsoft, or for some reason I couldn't do what I need to do on Microsoft. But you can be a nerd on any OS. Like, and most Linux users are not even nerds. Anything you want to do on Linux, you can do on any other OS. Like, customizing your distribution is not really being a nerd, you know. Yeah, get a Steam Deck, yeah. I am a nerd. Like, I get it, if you want to sit and change distro managers and Windows managers and icons and wallpapers and theming all day, go nuts on Linux. Nerd. Home server Linux is amazing, yeah. Linux is just so overrated. So, can I say something controversial? Well, I don't give a fuck, I'm saying it anyway. So, the whole thing with PewDiePie running Linux What if I told you that it's probably mostly because he's bored as fuck? Because when he was busy making millions and stuff like that, he didn't run Linux there. And now he's celebrating things are breaking. That sounds like a guy that's bored out of his fucking mind. And needs something to do. That's also why he's doing a lot of those mega projects and stuff like that. I don't think he said it like directly, but he hinted at it, I guess. Yeah, he's retired. He still do podcasts and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, I don't think he like it just came across like that, but I don't think he said it out loud. He just said that he liked to tinker and stuff like that and mess around with things. And then he had problems with his laptop, and he was like, "Oh yes, another problem I can fix." And I think he's just bored. That's why he's doing it. Yeah, good old hardware that needs Windows. I was talking to someone and they were... This is the most stupid thing I ever heard someone say. Because they also had hardware that needed Windows. And they refused to run Windows. I'm like, what do you do when you need to change something on that hardware? Well, I boot up a Windows VM, and then I pass through the device into that VM and change the setting, close down Windows VM, and then I use the hardware on Linux. I'm like, so you do run Windows then? No, I don't run Windows, but you do run Windows when you need to change the hardware then. Yeah, but that's not running Windows. It is running Windows. If you run Windows, you run Windows. You just don't main it. And why the fuck would you do that instead of just running Windows when you know it works on the Windows? Like, why give yourself the hassle of, oh shit, I have to change something else, let's go boot up Windows and basically plug it out of my main system, plug it into my Windows system. I know people that have Windows laptops for that reason. Where every time they need to change something on their keyboard and mouse and stuff like that, they plug it into their Windows computer. Plug it out, plug it into their Linux computer. Like, it's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. So you are relying on Windows, you just fool yourself to say you're not. Huh? Yeah, he got a kid now, yeah. At least that will keep him busy for a while, man. Well, I don't take anything. I don't give a fuck about what Chris Tides Tech does. I really don't. I've seen him giving advice to people that will break their system. And not even, like, say, oops, I'm sorry, or any, just double down on it multiple times. So, I'm done with him. Or bullshitting people. One time he did a video, I think I reacted to it now I'm thinking about it, where he compared Elden Ring, I think it was, on Windows versus Linux, and it ran a little bit better on Linux, but the fidelity, the shadowing, the resolution just looked worse on Linux than it did in Windows. And I have a high suspicion that the reason why Elden Ring ran better on Linux is because it's using lower resolution textures. And it's using lighting features that is not on... Sorry, it don't use all of the graphical features that Windows does because it's not supported on Linux. So yeah, you will say, you know, if you're not using the same lighting technologies that are as taxing on your system, you're getting more frames per second. And I notice a lot of times where games run better on Windows, not all the time, but a lot of times, it's because they're using or not using a lot of technology that is available on Windows. So let's say they will turn on ray tracing on Windows, but not on Linux. you know. I don't think he rigged it. I just don't think he did. He don't understand it. That's the problem. He don't see it. That's the problem. Like he don't catch it. Like he don't sit down and look at the footage and analyzing the footage that he's recording. He's just looking at the FPS count and say, well, that's it. You know, yeah, he just sees the numbers. Yeah. Instead of investigating why does it run faster. Because it could be that, let's say Elden Ring is running upscaling on Linux, or like I said, it's using shadow technologies that is less taxing, or the lighting technologies that are less taxing than on Windows, because the taxing one on Windows is not supported on Linux. And also, has he set it up 100% identical on both machines, using the same resolution, the same fidelities, and all that fucking shit? They rarely tell us that either. And I have a suspicion that a lot of people would crank it up on Windows and keep it, in normal on Linux just to get higher frames on Linux. Because they are that biased. What do you mean about cutoffs? Well, you can still run a 30 FPS game on a 144 frames monitor. You have to see what the game actually are running, not what your monitor can run. But I don't even think that he's catering to his viewers. I think it's just like they just see a number and then instead of figuring out why do I see this number, they just go with it. And then they're like, oh fuck, I'm using high settings here and medium settings there, Well, Linux don't have a chicken and egg problem. Linux have a community problem. It basically, Linux have a retention problem. A lot of people try Linux, but a lot of people don't stick with Linux. So most Linux users have used Linux on average, let's say 5 years at most. But after 2 or 3 years, they kind of go away from Linux. That's the problem. But there is a lot of people that have used Linux. Even in educational places, they use Linux nowadays for educational purposes. And the people that try Linux in their education, most of them don't even stick with it and use it at home. So it's not like and because of that they don't retain the user base. There's no financial intent or incentive to support Linux. There's just not enough users that it financially makes sense to support Linux. Because it is a cost to support Linux. But if Linux could retain its users, then there will be a financial incentive for companies to support it. Why would you cater to 4% of the market and spend millions of dollars for 4% of the market? That's it. Why not learn something about Linux? There is a high chance you're never going to use that knowledge. That's it. There is a 96% chance that you're not going to use that knowledge. So learn about Linux if you have to learn about Linux. Yeah, most YouTubers think they are the community. You're right, yeah. I do like the penguin. Yeah. Like videos saying Linux did not finish and jump to the next statement. What? Yeah, but here's the thing. So let's look at it as a time investment standpoint. I have 10 hours available a week to learn a skill. that can further my career, that can make me make more money. So, am I going to spend those 10 hours learning a skill that is a 4% chance I can use? Or am I going to spend those 10 hours a week learning something where there is a 70% or 15% chance? Look at it like this. Statement Linux users come with: I am only going to work on Linux machines. Congratulations, you now excluded yourself from 96% of the market. You have now said no to 96% of all jobs out there. Like roughly speaking, of course. Because I only want to work with Linux. Or I'm only going to use Linux. Here's the thing, you learn what you need to learn. If it's like for a job purpose. But you can't sit and say, I can't find a job. Okay, what are your skills? I'm an IT, this and that. Okay, why can't you find a job? Well, I say I can use Linux, and I only want to work on Linux. Yeah, that's why you can't find a job. For Linux to retain its population that it's getting, Linux needs to be better. How do Linux needs to become better? It stop pretending it's the fucking king of the hill. Linux needs to learn a skill you learn the older you get. It's called working in a society. It's working and fitting in with society. That's it. Linux needs to be less competitive, less at war, less hating, less everything it does right now. It needs to be more inclusive. It needs to be better working with proprietary software and companies. It needs to be better at allowing people to not agreeing with everything they say. And they need to stop bitching and moaning and yelling and screaming and waging war against everyone that's not a FOSS or Linux person. When that happens, they may have a chance. Why would I spend millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to cater to 4% of the market? Makes no sense as a company. No sense. So you want companies to support Linux, we need more users. How do you get more users? Stop being fucking idiots. Stop forcing people to use the command line. Stop doing read the fucking manual. Stop judging people for using proprietary software. Instead of forcing people to Linux that can't run Linux, help them build the software so they can run Linux. Make a better LibreOffice. Make a better ecosystem. Stop fighting each other over what distribution to run to begin with. That would probably be a good start, Stop the distribution wars. Boop. That's just, nobody wants to be part of a community where you have to go through a sanitation fucking test every 6 months. But you're a new Linux user. What do you think about Ubuntu? And be really careful what you're saying. Okay? What is your favorite distribution? Oh, you said Arch Linux? Oh, good. Next month, what is your favorite Linux distribution? Still Arch Linux? No. This month is Fedora. Be careful here. Linux is the only place where you have to go through like a fucking governmental sanitation process every now and then to see if you're pure enough to be a Linux user. Sounds a lot like social justice warriors, by the way. Or veganism. Nobody wants to be part of that fucking bullshit. When you can use Linux and Windows and no Linux users fucking bitch and moan about it, that's the day Linux will have a chance. That's the day they will have a chance. Nobody wants to be part of a group that is like, oh, you use Windows, you are fucking worse than hell, and blah, 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 and all your fucking family members and kids should be eaten up by Satan himself, and what the fuck have you not? That is why people, besides the technology problem that Linux have, because Linux developers, they love to debate, then work. That's it. And they fork. Like, Linux have a forking problem on top of that. Because you made a decision I don't like, so let me fork your project. So now not only do we have 10,000 distributions, we have 10,000 fucking forks to choose from. And all of them sucks because nobody's really fixing a problem because they're just forking and forking and forking. And forking and forking and forking. Yeah, use Arch. This is just... Yeah, I know. Yeah, X11 just recently got forked. Yeah. And why are we not over... I thought Wayland was like, you know, the future. Why do we even give a fuck about X11? Like, you know... I'm sure they said that X11 was outdated and nobody should use it, so why the fuck do we care about it? Or do they just want to make a political statement? I think it's more that they just want to make a political statement. Which goes into my... sorry, my argument. But didn't it, like, for the last 2 years or 3 years, or however long it fucking been, the whole Linux community said, oh, X11 is outdated, we don't need it anymore, and all that shit. Who gives a fuck what's happening with it then? Or are they just full of fucking shit? Like, you know, are they just full of fucking shit? They're probably just full of fucking shit. I don't think it's elitism, it's just like, they just like to fight. They're Karens. Linux has been the same for 6 years. It's been the same for over 10 years, man. Exactly, Radio Man. Yeah. Cosmic Desktop is a perfect example of the fork problem we have in the world. It's a lot of wasteless fucking development for a desktop environment just so we can run Rust. What they should do is try to figure it out with GNOME. Figure out how to work with GNOME. That's what Ubuntu did. Talk with the GNOME developers. Try and work it out. Together they can do 10,000 times more than separate. And here's the thing, Cosmic Desktop environment probably is only going to be a niche for Pop! OS, just like Spongy is for Solus. GNOME is still going to be the most used one, and then KDE. Nobody wanted an offshoot of GNOME. Nobody wanted Cosmic Desktop other than Pop! OS. Because they were a little bit angry over some things GNOME did. Nobody asked for it. So fix it with GNOME developers then. That's what people do in the grown-up world. Yes, we may disagree, but we try to fucking figure it out. It's so much more beneficial for Linux as a whole if the System 76 developers could work it out with GNOME developers. Now, again, we have another desktop environment that are trying to reinvent the wheel. Imagine if all of development, all the desktop environment developers got together in one big fucking group and worked on one massive, amazing desktop. Imagine how much work they could have done. Imagine how much development they could have gotten out of that. Now we have hundreds of developers working parallel with each other, barely talking to each other because, oh, I know better than you. Like, if they are shooting the set, like, I don't care if Pop! OS or Ubuntu or whoever the fuck wins everything, but we need one Linux distribution. This has gotten too far now. They need, like, community unity. Why do we have so many forks and fucking parallel projects if it's all about community and unity? Because it's all about community as long as it benefits my project. It's all about unity as long as it fits my project. That sounds a little bit arrogant and narcissistic, if you ask me. I honestly believe a lot of the Linux developers in Linux world are narcissistic, arrogant motherfuckers. Because they only care about their thing. You know. Get the fucking shit together. Make a mission plan. Have a fucking purpose. Have a direction. Have a fucking outline of what you want to do. Most Linux distributors are just... They don't know what they're doing the next 6 months. They just, probably make a new respin. Yeah, what are the future plans? I don't fucking know. We will figure something out. So fucking amateurish, man. It's like not even fun. And the Linux Foundation spend under 5% of the annual fucking revenue on Linux desktop. Or something. I have a video about it on my channel you can go and watch. The Linux Foundation don't even give a fuck about Linux desktop anymore. They spend most of their money on big corporate fucking shilling. They probably spend more money on Git that's owned by Microsoft than they do on fucking Linux. Like, I don't understand why people can't see the bullshit that's going on with Linux. Like, it's like holding on to something that is about to die in front of you and trying to keep it alive with fucking band-aids and gaffer tape and duct tape. It's so fucking delusional. Yeah, System 76 just use KDE instead, but I don't want to do that. Patreon is the best university. Oh, Pantheon. Pantheon is I like Pantheon. I really like Pantheon. I despise the main developer. She is batshit crazy. But I like Pantheon. Oh, yeah, Prophet. That's, yeah. Yeah, imagine all of the Linux distro developers got together to make one distro. Like, I'm not joking. They could outcompete Mac and Windows in a few years. They could outcompete Mac and Windows in a few years if they did that. Linux could have gotten... It could have been decades ahead of where it is right now if people could just learn to fucking work together. But no. Hyperland is not the way. No. You have to remember who is going to be the biggest part of your user base. And then you cater your system to them. Well, users are big of the users and the developers are big of the issue. You'll get a plugin to get tiling under GNOME. You can also make GNOME's GUI a non-configurable nightmare. Let's face it. Let's go in here and do a good little example. Go away, AI idiot. Why are there no list? Here you go. This is just a super short sample of the desktop environments out there. GNOME and KDE combined probably has 98-95%, let's say 90% of all the users. 90%. These two combined. And I take Ubuntu under GNOME. All of these here are trying to compete about the rest 10%. You see the stupidity that's going on here. We have 2 juggernauts. And all of the rest is fighting over the scraps that's left. It don't matter. Gnome has paid dev. KDE has paid devs. A lot of FOSS projects have paid devs. They get paid by donations. Mint that do Cinnamon has paid developers. Elementary OS has at least one paid developer. The main developer is getting paid full time to work on it. Ubuntu has a shit ton of paid developers. They tried with Unity and that failed. I think Jinx left us. I think she couldn't handle that. Yeah. Yeah, Katie is underfounded. Yeah, so the reason why there's so many distributions is not because they want to prevent it from being bought. That can't happen. Like, if someone buys Linux, the source code is still out there. You could just fork it. If there's only one Linux distribution and everything is FOSS, and someone buys it, you can just fork it. It's all open source. That's just a lame-ass excuse because they don't have a real good answer for it. But the really answer is that there should not be that many distributions. And most of them are pointless. But they don't want to realize that because that's something negative against Linux, and we cannot say negative things about Linux. That would cost you testicles and your kidneys, by the way. Trinity is a fork of an old KDE 3, I think it is, 3.5 or something like that. Windows has no choice. Well, Windows do have choice. It's called Windows Home Pro, Workstation Server, Data Center, IoT, or Embedded, and so on and so on. If you are making a desktop environment or a distribution and you're not making it to compete with anyone else, you would not release it to the public. It would be a hobby project for you alone. The second you are releasing it to the public, you are by default competing for users with everyone else. Like it or not, you are competing. Because you're competing about the resources that are available. Because a lot of times without those resources, donations, help, blah, 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 your project is not going anywhere. I'm not saying Linux is as bad as Microsoft and Apple. They just have their own unique problems. And it's mostly just that they... It's the reverse of body morphia. What is it called? Body dysmorphia. If you don't know what that is, it's the reverse of that. I don't know what that will mean. So body dysmorphia would be like this dude here, for example. This is how he is in real life. This is how he sees himself. In Linux world, it's different. Linux sees themselves as this massive king in the world. They are better. They are smarter. They are more. They can do more. They are. It's the best thing ever, and blah blah blah. Compared to Windows and Mac OS. They see themselves as this like massive fucking giant of fucking whatever it is. In reality, this is Linux. It's this little like child compared to Mac OS and Windows. That's it. They play this like, we know better, we know what's best for the users, we have found the holy grail, join us, heathens. We will save you. Like, we are the righteous ones. We are the big ones. And in reality, they're like a little fucking mouse. Being like, me, 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 in the background. Or they're like this little fucking annoying kid that's trying to talk to the adults. And until Linux understand their place in society, they can't get anywhere. They can't get anywhere. Like, you can get a license for free for Windows. You call the support number. You talk to an AI for 10 minutes and she gives you a fucking license. And congratulations, you're now trained on AI. But you get a free license for Windows. That's what I did with my Lenovo laptop. I just call into the service department, the phone number that you call in for to activate Windows. And then she asks you some questions. You have to tell her some numbers and she will repeat them. Basically, you're training an AI. And at the end, she's giving you an activation license. It's that simple. It takes 10 minutes. Depending on how thick your accent is, basically. So, it's not about open source. Open source is a development philosophy. It's a development tool. It has nothing to do with how well Linux does or how good Linux is. Open source is something that only matters. I can't stress this enough. Only matters for developers. It has no impact on the end user at fucking all. You can make a totally proprietary system and do exactly what they do with Linux other than letting you look at the source code. You can give it away for free, you can redistribute it, you can configure it, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can just not see the source code. And here's the thing, 99% of all fucking Linux users don't fucking look at the source code. Only developers do, which is a super small part of the computing world. Heck, we had a developer on this week that confirmed that even developers rarely look at other people's source code. I'm as knowledgeable as Linux users want to say they are. They know fucking shit about what they're talking about, and it drives me nuts. Yeah, I know Red Hat and Linux fanatics disagree with me. Rust people disagree with me. Red Hat users disagree. Let me put it this way: everyone that just sits on their fucking chair and type on a keyboard and don't go out in the real life and talk to real people disagree with me. Because they have not talked to people in the real world about this thing. They have not worked with people that work with this in the real world. They have not even worked with this in the real world. All that information comes from some other fucking idiot on the internet that they like the sound of what they're saying, and they're regurgitating what they're saying without doing any research. They just like what they are saying, and then like, yeah, I like what this dude is saying, so let's take his opinion. And his opinion comes from someone else that's saying something he likes to hear. So it's just what they just reinforcing things they like instead of things that's actually, are true. So there's a fun thing you guys can do right now. Everyone says that open source software is more stable and secure than proprietary software. Funny enough, there's been written a lot of white papers in that subject. Some of them are over 20 years old almost. And they are out there. And you know what the majority of outcome is about that subject? That the fact, or not the fact, but the statement that Linux and open source is more stable and secure than proprietary software all comes down to personal opinion. AKA, they can't make it a fact because they cannot set up a scenario where it comes out being true all the time. So it all comes down to the quality of the developers and personal opinion. So that means you can have bad developers on Linux, that make bad software, unstable software. You got bad developers on Windows or on proprietary software that make bad software. And again, I think I have 1 or 2 videos where I actually go over one of those white papers. That actually, I think I have a few of them where I go over white papers where people have scientifically studied that statement. Why is it that a fucking stupid fat idiot from Denmark is the only YouTuber out there that have done that in the Linux world? Why is Quiz Titus Tech, Distro2, Mental Outlaw, all of these fucking yappers not going on and actually researching the subject they're talking about? Because 9 out of 10 times it's going to go against what they want to say. They are not interested in telling you the truth. They're interested in you joining their cult. That's the only thing they're interested in. And it drives me honestly fucking nuts. They are like Scientology. If you just blindly just listen to them, you are fucking sheep. As much as you want to call me as a Mac user and Windows user a sheep, you are also a sheep. Because you just listen to someone with a lot of fucking subscribers on YouTube say, yes daddy, yes daddy, yes daddy, let me suck your cock. And 90% of the things they're saying is fucking batshit wrong. And had I not been in the Linux world where a lot of those things happened that they are talking about, I would believe them also. Because I don't know better. They must know what they're talking about. They have so many subscribers and views. Of course you're going to believe them. That's how the world works. But I happen to have used Linux since the fucking mid-90s, so when they say a lot of bullshit, I'm like, I was there when that happened. That didn't fucking happen, okay? Why would you choose the open source one? You should choose the best tool for the job. There's no reason as an end user to choose anything because of the license of the software. Unless one is paid and none is, like, you can use it freely without paying for it. And a lot of times, people choose the proprietary version over the free software one. Because it's just better. It's as simple as that. It's that simple. Exactly, Prophet, yeah. Poor Mitchell or Michael. What did Michael do? What's wrong with going to a Red Hat Summit? No laws can keep people from doing or using what they want to use or do. If everyone really, really wanted to use Linux, they would use Linux. You can't stop the masses. If Linux was the best OS, like uncategorically proven to be the best OS, everyone would be running it. Or not everyone, but 90% of humanity will run it. They would go out of their way to run it. And I know this because, again, I lived through this. I lived through Windows Vista. I was alive when Windows 8 was around. I was the one that people called to get me to downgrade Windows to a previous version of Windows. Because they didn't know what OS was, but they just know, I don't like this that's on my computer right now. I have a friend that told me, you can get me a better version. Can you give me a better version? People know what they want. They know the fuck what they want. And if something, like, when Game of Thrones was aired, there were people in countries where you couldn't even fucking see Game of Thrones that saw Game of Thrones. You know? There are TV series that are not being aired anymore that a lot of you guys probably have laying around somewhere that you got in let's say, alternative ways because you couldn't get it in any other way. Why? Because you wanted to. Like, I'm not, and here's the thing, I'm not saying anything fucking crazy. I'm not that fucking smart. This is just common fucking sense. I don't know why Linux users can't fucking get that in their head. Like, I'm not spewing any fucking knowledge here that nobody knows about. People don't use Linux because Linux don't bring anything to the table people really, really want other than nerds. Or people that want to be unique snowflakes. Or people that live such a bad, sad life, sadly enough, of course, that the only thing they have in their life that makes them interesting is that they are Linux and Frost fanboy. Which is sad. If that's the only thing that's interesting about you as a person, you need to do something with yourself. Go out there and fuck some chickens or something like that. Also, why is everyone angry at Red Hat? Red Hat is owned by IBM, that's a Chinese company. They was not angry at them when IBM bought them. What's going on? Is the whole Xbox thingy? Ubuntu, the distribution really don't matter that much nowadays, to be honest. Prophet, there have been so many changes in the core technologies over the lifespan of Linux, and it never does anything. It never does anything. Oh, Pipewire crashes with NVIDIA, what the fuck? I did not know that one. Yeah, IBM is owned by a Chinese company. For like the longest time. Funny enough, a lot of American companies are owned by non-American companies. Funny enough. Yeah, I would not. Lunduk, I will take what he says with a grain of salt. He's falling from grace the last X amount of years. I can't remember how long it's been, but he used to be somewhat of a decent reporter, but there's a lot of biases going into what he's doing at the moment. Of the sharing of code. So who shared code? Did Red Hat share code, or what's going on? Well, technically, Linux is owned by multi-billion-dollar companies and not a person anymore. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Linux is trademarked under the Linux Foundation, and the Linux Foundation is controlled by multi-billion-dollar companies. Like Huawei, a lot of them are Chinese also, by the way. No, IBM is owned. The headquarters can be in the States, but the company is owned by a Chinese company. 7-Eleven is owned by a Japanese company. At one point, Microsoft had the majority of share in the company that owned SUSE. So they technically owned SUSE, even though it was a German company with headquarters in Germany. Where the headquarters... So here's the thing. Ubuntu is registered in Isles of Man for tax purposes, but the headquarters, I think, is in London. But it's not a English company. It's an Isle of Man company. Where the headquarters is mean nothing. Yeah, who gives a fuck about Linux, yeah. It's who owns the either the majority of share or the company name or whatever the fuck you call it. Those are the one owning it. It's not, they don't matter where the fuck they are situated. Tencent is a massive contributor to Linux, or they actually on the board director. There's a lot of big, massive Chinese companies that's on the board that are in the decision making, group of the Linux Foundation, aka they control Linux. Yeah, Lenovo bought part of the IBM's computer product, but that's not the same. Ham radio, they're mad at radio for sharing the code. Well, that's their prerogative, though. It's their product. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Again, this sounds a lot like just entitlement. Yeah, open source is already in elements, yep. True, EEPs, they have that, yeah. No, the Red Hat source code, I think, is just freely available. Here you go. How many repositories do they have? 92. Red Hat has never been a good company. I even think that there is a way for you to so Red Hat is removing access to RHEL source code. Oh, that's pride. Well, if there's nothing against the license to say they can't do this, then shit. You shit out of luck. God damn it. Go away. They're protecting their investment. Yeah, of course they're going to do this. So the source code is still available to IBM Red Hat customers, but license prohibit them from redistributing it. They can, again... So, again, this is a super... I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but IBM Red Hat makes Red Hat Linux. They can do whatever the fuck they want. You are not entitled to anything they do. I'll say this again, shorter form. You are not entitled to anything they do. You didn't pay the developers. You didn't work on it on your spare time. And if you did, you're stupid. You know. So yeah, they're just protecting their investment. I don't know how that's broken trust. Yep. Everything that wasn't legally guaranteed can be taken away at any time, even if promised by an organization. Yeah. It has nothing to do about caring about the end user. You are not... Here's the thing. If you're a Linux user, be happy that you can use it for free for now. Be happy that you have a system that works. If you're a gamer under Linux, be happy that fucking Valve gave Proton for free, okay? But here's the thing. They can take all of that away from you tomorrow. And you are not entitled to any fucking thing. That's it. End of story. You are not entitled to other people's work. They just happen to include the community if they want to, or open it up. But they can take it away when they want. And I know this is not a popular opinion, but it's reality. It's reality. I know a lot of people sucking Gabe Noble, or what the fuck his name is, cock, because he gave Linux Proton, we have the Steam Deck, and he's really good for the gamer consumers on his platform. Do you know about all the fucking anti-competitive lawsuits Valve have been through? Do you know about all the antitrust lawsuits Valve have been in? Do you know why Valve opened up and made it more easy for you to get refunds and stuff like that? Because of lawsuits against Valve. Valve is only a good company because it's benefiting them. The second it don't benefit them anymore, they don't give a fuck about you. Because the only thing Steam care about or Valve care about is money. Of course they are good to their users or consumers because it keeps them on the platform, so you spend more money on their platform. Steam can go away tomorrow and they are not legally required to give you any of your games that you have on that store. You basically own none of the games you buy in Steam. They say they will, but they're not legally required to do it. They can take away all your fucking games tomorrow. In my case, thousands of dollars of games. But they're not legally required to keep them for you. They say they won't do it. But they're not legally required to do it. And here's the thing. They are really good to you because you spend money there. You know who hate Valve and Steam? Developers. Valve is fucking developers left, right, and center. You are playing into the... You as a consumer are being used and abused. The Linux community has been used and abused by Valve. They, instead of them making a lot of shit, they took a lot of good work that the open source community have done, bundled it into their thing, so they can sell a shit ton of handheld devices. And make more money on the Steam store. And you know why they give Proton away, or don't put Proton under a paywall? Because then now you become a customer also on Linux. That's why they didn't do it. They didn't proprietary it or put it behind a paywall. They just got way more customers. They did it so you can give them money. Not because they like you, not because you're their pals. No. They just like more ATM machines, bitches. But how many fucking Linux YouTubers do you see their channels dedicated to sucking Gabe Noble's butthole? The matter of fact that they're not proud from top to toe right now is like out of my mind. And they're like, oh, Valve can do no wrong. They're never going to fuck us over. And it's so nice to support Linux. Yeah, they're supporting Linux because they have to for their Steam Deck. And you know what? They get a little bit more money out of you. So think about it this way. You did yeah, exactly. That's the guy, Anton. Think about this. Linux community. You did most of the work for Valve. You didn't even get a fucking free game for it, but you did most of the work for Valve, okay? They may pay the developer here and there, but you did most of the work for Valve for free. So you could go and spend money on their fucking store. It's like you running into a cage, locking yourself in, giving your fucking capture the key, a whip, and loop, and say, please loop me up and spank me, good sir. Why has nobody made that connection before? Like, honestly, Valve don't give a fuck about anything but Valve. Valve is good because it's in their best interest to be good. Yeah, Linux users became beta testers, exactly, yeah. And here's another thing that's going to fucking irritate me. Or irritate you guys, give me 1 second. So, let me tell you why they can fuck you over. Because of the TPL. What they did could only be done because of us. So you can't even fucking complain about it. The way FOSS is done, allow companies like Steam to do exactly this. Use and abuse you. Congratulations. Congratulations. They can remove any game they want. I have games on my Steam store right now you can't buy on Steam. There's not even a Steam store for some of them. They still allow me to download them, but they are not legally required to. It's just them being, and of course, it's them being nice, and of course I'm grateful for them being nice. But I also know that the only reason why they are nice is because they're making millions and billions of dollars on that fucking store. The second you stop doing that, they are going to do... So the first thing... Let's say Steam gets a massive competitors and they actually have to fucking, fight for the store supremacy on Windows. Well, the first thing they're going to do is cut away the fat. And that could probably be support for Linux. Giving back to the Linux community. Because it's something they don't see a lot of return for. I see a lot of people say that the reason why Valve is supporting Linux is because... they are tired of Windows. No, they are not tired of fucking Windows. Without Windows, you would not even have Proton. Windows is their golden goose. Like, they are not going to ditch Windows for Linux or anything until that platform gives them more money than Windows. You're just lucky that they want to invest that time in it because it's financially benefiting them to do that on Steam Deck. But here's the thing. Now we have the Xbox, whatever the fuck it is, handheld. There are so many handhelds right now that run Windows that runs games better on handhelds than SteamOS does now. And one game SteamOS don't even can run. And some of them are even cheaper than the Steam Deck. And it runs fucking more battery life than the Steam Deck. So right now I am debating on getting a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch 2. And you know why I kind of want a Nintendo Switch 2? Because I don't want to be tethered to a fucking power outlet. The Steam Deck says it's a handheld. Everyone I know that has a Steam Deck is tethered to a fucking power outlet. If they're doing anything then, playing solitaire. And the new... Lema can know what version is of Microsoft that they have... customized to work better on handhelds for Xbox. But I hear the Switch battery life is way better than the Steam Deck. And again, like, I can get Windows handheld gaming devices that are better than the Steam Deck and cheaper a lot of times. GeForce Now is another thing. Yeah. Yeah, they already have a version of Windows that's optimized for handhelds that they apparently is better than any Steam Deck OS. Also, there's a lot of well, I don't know the statistic of it, but there are a good portion of users that install Windows on Steam Deck because it wants the games they want to play better than Steam OS does. It's what I'm trying to come at here. Don't align yourself with any company, organization, or anything just because you like what they do. GNOME don't give a fuck about you. Linux don't give a fuck about you. Microsoft don't give a fuck about you. Steam, Valve don't give a fuck about you. Apple don't give a fuck about you. Nike don't give a fuck about you. Adidas or Adidas, depending on where you live in the world, don't give a fuck about you. Reebok don't give a fuck about you. Under Armour don't give a fuck about you. PlayStation don't give a fuck about you. Xbox don't give a fuck about you. KDE don't give a fuck about you. All of these and everything in this world that produce a product, the only thing they care about is to keep that product running and alive as long as possible, because it means they have a job and or they are making money. They don't really give a fuck. They're your friend as long as they can be and it makes sense. I don't give a fuck about you. I just fuck you. I just loop you up and fuck you. But they are not your friend. Organizations and companies are not your friend. Because an organization is a company. It's just a company that typically are non-profit. So they tend to call themselves an organization. And what all of those are about is the continuation of the organization company. You could get a Snickers bar as a dinner. Well, governments by design has to care about its citizens. That's why they get elected. That's why the majority of them get it. You know, the ones with the majority of votes get in is because they're saying something that the majority of the population want, or they want to do things that the majority of the population wants them to do. So, you may not like what they're doing, but the majority of people in your area like what they're doing. That's why they got elected. So they kind of, by design, has to care about you. Because that's how they get elected. Lenny Smith don't give a fuck about you, yeah. I bring this camera, yeah. Oh, they're fucking, yeah, they fucked you over, yeah. Yeah, pussy, yep. I'm just tired of these, like, blindly fucking allegiance to a license or a product or a company or an organization, and then they bitch and moan when they do something that goes against their best interest. Of course they are. You are not entitled to anything. Just because you are a massive fanboy of them don't mean you're entitled to anything. Just because you're promoting them without them paying you or asking you to don't mean you're entitled to anything. Even if they pay you and ask you to, you're not entitled to anything. You are nothing more than a statistic and a cash cow to any FOSS and Linux project out there. Just like you are to Microsoft and Apple. They may talk to you more, they may be more open to conversations and feedback, but in the end, you are just a statistic. Because if you were not there, if nobody used their product, they would do something else. They would not be bothering talking to you. They would not call you like at 5 a.m. and say, how are you doing? You used to use my product. Are you doing okay? You gave us a lot of good feedback back then. Do you want to go for a pizza? Let's get a Costco pizza. They don't give a fuck about you. So all of this chat, like, you can convert millions of people to Linux. Linus Torvalds don't give a fuck about that. The Linux Foundation don't give a fuck about that. Have you seen Chris Titus Tech being awarded like the most successful or Linux YouTuber of the year by the Linux Foundation? Nobody gives a fuck. Like, come on. The amount of, and this goes for everyone on Earth, the amount of advertisement that we give out for free to fucking people or companies is mind-boggling. YouTube is built around that shit. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about you, so deal with it, yeah. Like, you are not that fucking special. But I know a lot of Linux users think they are special, and they're, saying fuck you to Big Brother and fuck you to the establishment. Linux is the establishment. Linux is run by the establishment. Linux is sponsored by the establishment. Again, look at the Linux Foundation's financial report. Again, I have a video about it on my channel. And you will see, first of all, how little money the biggest Linux contributor, the people that own the word Linux are actually fucking caring about Linux desktop. And Linux in general. They spend more money on other FOSS programs than Linux. I think they spend more money on meetings than Linux desktop. The organization that owns Linux spend more money on meetings than the Linux desktop and the Linux server. I don't know about the server, but at least Linux desktop. Let that sink in. And you sit here and say, oh, I'm using Linux because I'm saying fuck you to establishment and fuck you to all of these. You go and look at the people that are in control of where those money goes, and it's like Microsoft, Dell. I can't remember all the names, but it's a shit ton of Chinese billion-dollar companies. It's a shit ton of American multi-million billion-dollar companies. Hey, Rudies. Those are the ones that really control Linux and the FOSS world. If you look at who contributes the most to most open source projects, it's people with a shit ton of money that are doing it for a corporation. Or the corporation directly makes sure that it functions and is alive because it's benefiting them in the long run. Again, Valve is the reason for Proton. Valve putting money into Proton because it's benefiting them. Not because they want to be nice to Linux. Well, Azure Linux is not Azure. Azure is like a cloud technology. You can also get, there's something called Azure AD. There's Azure Cloud. There's Azure Store. Azure Linux is just a part of Azure. It's not Azure. There's also Azure Windows. Heck, there's probably also Azure like fucking OS 2 or something like that. No, my blood pressure is fucking. I mean, I should have I need to buy one of those blood pressure. Like, I'm calm as shit. Like. Huawei is a massive contributor, by the way, to the Linux kernel and part of the board of directors. Huawei, the company that got banned by the United States government, is controlling a lot of FOSS software. The Linux kernel itself. Or at least one of the biggest sponsors to it. Or part of the group that is the biggest sponsor to it. So, well, installing Windows is a middle finger to Linux code, yeah. Well, Huawei has apparently a really good Android OS, so you can't get away from the control of massive corporations in life. The only time you can do this, okay? You take all your money and you buy some land. By the way, you don't own that land, you just buy the rights to be there. But let's pretend you own the land, okay? And you go out in the middle of the forest. And you start to hunt down animals, cut down trees, you build your own little hut out there, and you live off the grid. But you know what, nerds? That means no internet. You can't have internet because then, again, you're relying on big corporations, Big Brother. You can't have internet, so you have to live in the hut. You can probably have like a Commodore 64 or a computer with a shit ton of games on it, but you can't connect to the internet. You can have off-the-grid electricity, but you can't connect to the internet. Well, Starlink is the internet. You cannot be connected to the internet. Because then you might as well just move back to the city, because then you're still part of the Big Brother, you're still contributing to Big Brother, and massive corporations and blah, 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 all that fucking shit. The only way you can get rid of being part of this, say fuck you to big corporations and Big Brother and all that shit, you have to be disconnected from society. 100% disconnected from society. So it means no internet. Then you can run Linux, totally secure and private. But are you? Because the land you bought is not really your land, it's still the fucking government's land. They still own it. So you're not even you're still fucking in the mercy of a fucking massive corporation called the country you live in. And their government. I know this sounds really fucking is it nihilistic or something like that? Even a remote Iceland is owned by someone. You will probably live a better life. A happier life. If you just accept that there are things you can't do anything about. And you can hope that it may change, but you as an individual can't do anything about it. Move to the moon is... So according to the treaty with the whole world, nobody can own land on the moon. Besides, China said fuck you and they are owning land on the moon anyway. So... But you'll probably live a way better life if you're just accepting that there are things I can do something about and there are things I can't do something about. You can hope it works or change. And if there's, let's say there's something you want changed and you see someone try to do something about it, you can help them out. You can be part of that political group or what you call it. But don't expect it to change. And then focus on things you can change. You'll probably live a way better... You will live a way better life if you don't give a fuck about what OS people are using or what software license the software that they're using are using. There are so many angry Linux users I see on all kind of Windows and Mac videos. If they stop being that angry, they will probably be happier people. They will probably live a better life. And they can do that on Linux or Haiku or FreeBSD or whatever OS they want to use. And then they don't have to spend hours every day, sit on forums and Reddit and YouTube comments, arguing. The second you stop giving a fuck what other people do in general, you will live a happier life. You don't have to convert anyone. Linux should be able to convert people automatically, if it's that fucking good. Because They care what other people are using because it's a self-confidence boost. It's a reaffirming boost. It confirms that the choice they made is the right one. It's super selfish, basically. Like 90% of everything we do in life. So when a Linux user wants someone else to convert over to Linux, it's only for their own self-gratification. Because then they can say, I converted them. I made the right choice because they also made it the right choice. Finally. I must be right because this person also saw the light. It's only to benefit themselves. Nothing more. It's a self-gratification move. Where is the Windows USB? A lot of like so when Nvidia open source part of their proprietary corporate driver, not gaming driver, way back in the day. I have a video about that also. DistroTube went out on his yard or something like that and made a video about talking about how great it was and Linux is finally winning and blah 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 blah, and you should be on the right side of history and start supporting FOSS and Linux. Why would he say that you should be on the right side of history and therefore support Linux and FOSS? Because he is supporting Linux and FOSS. And if you don't do it, he may not be on the right side of history. And that's apparently a really big mental issue for him. Because if you don't support Linux and FOSS, that means that a lot of people may not support Linux and FOSS. And that would probably also mean that Linux and FOSS would fail. So that meant that he chose the wrong side of history. Because he failed. So the only reason he will say that you should be on the right side of history is because he's basically afraid that if you don't do it, we could fail. He should just have said, Nvidia, open source, amazing, give us more capabilities on Linux, I fucking think it's great for Linux and FOSS, and fucked off. He should not guilt trip you into then supporting Linux and FOSS. He should not give a fuck about what you support. Because, first of all, it's not in his power to change it. And he should not change it. He's not the boss of anyone. And saying that, basically saying that you are not on the right side of history is basically saying that you are a bad person. You are a super bad person is basically what he's telling you. For not doing it. How is that good? It's like me saying you're a bad person that should go to hell for putting mustard on your sandwich. Which nobody should care about. Other than you eating the sandwich. Just like nobody should care about what OS and license your software is that you use. Other than you. And Linux YouTubers use a lot of these little things to guilt trip you into supporting them. And in the end, it's only because they want to be reinforced. Can we have a nice Windows wallpaper on your PC? Ugh. Oh, I know which we want. We want the XP wallpaper. Oh, I'm still wanting fucking whatchamacallit, IDE. There you go, buddy. I fucking cry, yeah. Yeah, this is one of the best wallpapers ever, to be honest. So, oh god, I'm using so much RAM. Yes, it's because I'm using a fucking web browser. A lot of people say Windows uses a lot of RAM. Try close your fucking web browser with all your tabs in it, you fool. Like, I don't know how many people that shows a picture of their fucking RAM use, and the top process of RAM uses their web browser. Like, you have like 5 fucking tabs open and it's using like gigabytes of fucking RAM. Where do we have Vivaldi here? It's using... Like, all of this is Vivaldi. This is also Vivaldi. It's using close to a gigabyte. If you're combining all of this. And this is just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tabs. If you think your Windows or Linux is using a lot of RAM, try and close your anything web related, okay? Just anything web related, try and close that down. YouTube, if you watch a YouTube video, it goes really nuts. Especially the higher resolutions you're watching it in. Well, unused RAM is wasted RAM is a no. No, it's just the way that web browsing work. It's just pictures are bigger, video formats are bigger. Everything in webbing is bigger. It's not just one thing. It's like it's just everything combined, basically. I do use Edge and Chrome also, by the way. I use Edge at work exclusively. And I use Chrome for shopping, and I use Vivaldi for everything else. And for recording YouTube videos, if I need to show something in a web browser, I use the Zen browser, which is like a version, basically Firefox modified. So suck my dick. Yes, Anton, you're right. That's another theory that I have, okay? So, a lot of Linux users, they want really old, crappy hardware. And the reason why... And then they want Linux because they can't run anything else. Because it's too... what is it called? It's too resource hungry. And they sit there, I should not be upgrading my computer, and I should not be blah, blah, blah. And then your computer is 15 years old. You cannot expect a computer to last 15 years. I don't have the money. And then you're like, didn't you just go out drinking last night? Yeah. Are you not like, how many times did you get DoorDash this week? 4 times. Didn't you buy this useless toy that you don't need? Yeah. Yeah, instead of doing all of those things... Put it in your fucking piggy bank and save up. Like, a lot of people can buy... There are, of course, situations where people can't do it. But most people can save up to buy a decent new computer if they just stopped fucking wasting money. But they rather waste money because, I can't live without my DoorDash Pro. Like, a lot of Linux users would not like the 90s, where a computer was obsolete, like, in a year, and you had to buy a new computer to run the latest software in 2 years. You had to buy new computers almost every 2 to 3 years. But a lot of Linux users, they just... It's a priority issue they have. It's not a money issue they have. It's a priority issue. And you don't even need an expensive computer to run Windows, let's say 11 or run modern Linux. There are people giving away computers that can run Windows 11. Giving them away. But then it's too much hassle to find them and blah blah. There's always excuses. And if you're here, Scooby, I think that's why Jinx is not here, because I called her out on it. But you don't need the latest hardware. You don't need the latest hardware. You let some idiot buy the latest hardware and you buy his hardware or her hardware for cheap. You don't need a 5090. Most people don't need the latest hardware. Most people can live with like a 3 or 4 or 5 year old hardware and be just as happy with the performances that they do, that they give you. Heck, get a 40 series GPU or 60, 70 series GPU and you will be happy 90% of the time. Puppy Linux is good. You don't need to play every game in highest fucking fidelity. You don't need to do that. That's a luxury. And most people don't become better if they have higher frame rates because they suck at 30 FPS, 60 FPS, and 144 FPS. I cannot tell you how many people I know that thought they became a better gamer because you could drive more FPSs and they still fucking sucked. Because if you suck at 30, you suck at 144. It's that fucking, you know... yeah, they are not optimized, so yeah, I can't run it at ultra setting. Boo-hoo fucking who. You don't need to run the game at ultra settings to get a good experience. You just lower the resolutions. And hey, if you have an Nvidia card, the upscaling is not that fucking bad. Use upscaling then. Yeah, I'm on the first gen AM5 and it runs perfectly fine. I'm on a 460 Ti and I play a lot of fucking modern games. Yes, it don't run 100 or 200 frames per second. Yes, it don't run everything on ultra. But I still get a fucking good gaming experience out of it. Yes, it sucks when I stop the game and look at the vista over the world and say, oh, the flowers are nice today. But most of the time, I'm too busy shooting people in the face to give a fuck about fidelity. Or driving a car with 200 miles per hour. A lot of people, they misconstrue nice to have with requirement. And if you can't afford nice to have, you buy what you can afford. And heck, I game a lot on the PlayStation 5. It don't have, like, compared to my graphic card can outcompete it a lot in a lot of games, but I still prefer to game on my PlayStation 5 because it's more convenient. I just install the game and play it. Well, that's a decent time to wait. 7 years. That's actually a really decent time. That's more than most. Well, let me put it this way. You could play 2 hours of a game or spend 2 hours learning a skill that can do so you make more money. So, are you playing too much games? That's how we should look at it. How am I using my time? If my job have a position opening Where if I learned this skill I could probably get, versus my job has a positioning opening, but it requires a skill. Oh well, let me play Fallout for 2 hours. That's how we should look at it. Am I purposely handicapping my potential by gaming? And if that's the case, then you're playing too much games. Yeah, 2 hours preparing environments for the game, yeah. Making sure all the config files is right and the Proton emulator is running the best version it can be and blah 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 blah. So if you can say to yourself, I am not hindering my potential of either making more money or learning or being with my family or whatever it is, like it's not impeding in your day-to-day life, you're not playing too many games. You can play too much games because you can play games so much that it's hindering your income, your social life, your health. The only people that can't play too many games are live streamers that either try or do make a living playing games, because it's literally their job. So if you want to advance in your professional life, you should probably limit your gaming a lot. Yeah, a lot of the latest games are fucked, yeah. You should probably do something in the nature of you only game in the weekends. And every free time you have in your weekdays, you spend making sure that you can make more money. Training up a skill, building up a portfolio, networking, whatever the fuck it is. Or you can say, I only allowed to play 2 hours a day. Or an hour, or how many hours you deem to be the right choice. Yeah, go to the gym, yeah. Yeah, then you will not play too much, yeah. But the Atari just beat a ChatGPT in a chess match, by the way. It's all, again, it all comes down to priorities, you know. This is another thing I hear a lot of people say, oh, you know, it sucks, nobody wants a nerd and a geek, I'm just here all alone, I can't find friends or you know, mates, you know, romantic interests. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, I game 10 hours a day. When you're not gaming, then I'm sleeping and eating. There you have your problem. You probably should cut down on at least the gaming to begin with. And then go out and you know, if you want a girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to go places where those people are. You know, they don't just come from the sky and fall into your lap and start sucking your cock. You have to go out and actually fucking find them. But it takes effort, and people don't like effort nowadays, apparently. It's like fucking kryptonite to them. Well, Lamer don't need to go out and find anyone because he has a couch now. So he's set. But he also has to prioritize time for the couch. He can't just deprioritizing, or else the couch would just run away. You know, the couch would just fade away. Yeah, we play games that is about the outside, but we don't go outside yet. It's like when you think about it, a lot of games is about living in a reality that's different from our reality. You never play... Oh, I used to play way too much WoW. But I stopped playing WoW a few years ago. I'm actually debating on re-subbing to WoW and play it again, but I just get sucked into it all the time. Then I'm doing nothing and playing WoW. Animal Crossing, nah. World of Warships, nah. Yeah, I don't. It's too boring for me. Yeah, it just no. I need to run around with guns if I want to play any. Nah, I'm fed up with girls. I'm fed up with humans. Right now, I'm in my anti-human phase. Yeah, spraying water on other people's property. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm in a anti-human phase right now. It just people are just so fake nowadays. I don't even want to bother with them. Yeah, human sucks. I'm fed up with all the games they play and how you have to fucking pretend to be someone just to, you have to like bullshit or just for them to even look at you. So yeah, fuck people. Yes, they have a million friends. Yeah, I never met anyone in real life. Yeah. I would like to travel. Like that's something I've been thinking about starting because train tickets in Denmark are not super expensive. So I was thinking about, just traveling somewhere and then recording the trip and then have like a post-trip talk about the gear I used, the technology I used, how it went, and stuff like that, And then have part of the trip running either in the background or when I'm talking, and then when I'm showing something, I show the things that I used on the trip and stuff. So mix traveling vlogs with tech stuff, if that makes sense. Or even on the trip, talk about the tech that I'm using and how stuff like that. So the focus is on the tech, but the traveling is like the medium, because I do want to see more. I want to get out more, to be honest. Like, and when I mean out, I mean like out and about. Yeah, but I don't have a motorcycle license, and I don't want to get one just for that. I may get a bicycle, maybe. And then put like a GoPro on it and tether it to a laptop or something like that and live stream the cycling. Because that's another thing I can do if I take, like, when I get to the destination, I can then live stream while I'm at the destination. I can just live stream from my phone. Well, I want to go to places where there's not a lot of people. So I don't want to go into a big city and then just go up and down the fucking main street. I want to go out and see, the countryside and stuff like that. Yeah, I know, but it just a laptop typically have more battery life than my phone has, and you also have more control. You can basically use OBS if you stream directly from your phone. You have limited capabilities. That's why almost every IRL streamer they send the signal to a laptop that use OBS or something like that. Well, I can't use a tablet because the problem is that it's a mobile device. There's no good streaming software for mobile devices at the moment. The only thing I can do is I can remote into my desktop and then send the signal from my phone to my desktop. But it would just be easier to have like a cheap laptop with a battery bank. And then have a DTA something or on my phone tethered. Like, I spent hundreds of hours researching how to live stream IRL, and this is how everyone does it. Yep, Lamer, this is something I actually know something about. This is how everyone does it. They have either a webcam or action cam or a phone tethered to a computer. Either their home computer or a laptop that controls OBS or Streamlabs or whatever it is. Or they use Streamlabs on their phone to send a signal to a computer somewhere in the world that live stream it to Twitch or where it is. Because if you don't do that, you don't get a lot of the features that you get on a normal live stream. Overlays, some notifications won't work and stuff like that. And they use Starlink a lot of times actually to boost the signal instead of taking it from their computer if they are out in countries that don't have good cell reception. So here in Denmark, I can just use my phone I can tether my laptop to my phone and use my phone as a modem basically. But let's say I was like in the outskirts of Germany, Spain or something like that. I need a Starlink because there's no cell reception there. So it's not just like, oh, just use your phone. Like if you stream to YouTube right now, you can use your front cam, your back cam, but you can't have any really overlays. Well, I have a MacBook Air that has better battery life than any of the things you're talking about right now. Why the fuck would I get a Surface laptop with shitty battery life when I have a MacBook Air that outcompetes it? Like, it makes no sense. Or what they do, they buy those like what the fuck are they called? Like netbooks. Like those, like TP, whatever they're called, like they have like a 11-inch monitor on them or something like that. That takes like that runs like Windows, but has like a really, really good battery life. Because here's the thing: if your laptop, whatever the fuck it is, a tablet only runs for like 4 hours and you're out for 8, you need a heavy fucking battery bank with you. So the longer the device can sustain itself, the less battery banks you have to carry around, aka the less weight you have to carry around. Yeah, but Surface laptops are not cheap. Like Surface laptops used are like they are more expensive than Apple a lot of times. And you also have to think about they have to be doable. They have to be somewhat, protected. Like the cheapest that, if you talk to an IRL streamer, the cheapest you can do it for is about $500-ish. It used to be thousands of dollars. And the professionals, their setup is about thousands plus dollars. But the entry level is about $500 plus dollars. Just to get the equipment that you need. If you want to do like a decent fucking stream. Yeah, that's not so fun, Rudis. Because it's not reactive. It depends on what you're doing. So let's say I'm only running OBS to, let's say, live stream. Send up the signal. And I have like a phone that is dedicated to just be the modem, basically. I could probably get I think it would be the same as like a phone call for the phone. So however long your phone can do phone calls, I guess. So most phones, that would probably be like 18 hours, 20 hours maybe. And the Mac itself, if it's only taking the thing and encoding it and setting it up, which is not super intensive, probably 10 hours, I guess. Maybe 8. 8. Yeah, I think I could probably get about 8 hours out, like conservatively 8 hours. So that means that I only need one battery bank and I get 16 hours. And then I get all the capabilities as I get, like, with my setup I have right now. I can do all the same shit. I'm not limited to whatever the mobile version of the software, if there is one. Because OBS is not on mobile. And all the other, like, there is Streamlabs, but it's mostly just as a remote control for Streamlabs on your computer. So it sends the signal from your phone to your computer over the internet. And then there's a shit ton of crappy ones that you either have to pay for or free. YouTube do allow you to stream directly to YouTube from your phone. But you have almost no control over what's going on there. Almost no control of what's going on. Like, hopefully they make it better, like, in the future. But that, like I said, like... But the way people do it now is, like, they have something that sends their signal to their computer at home. Or they have, like, a mini laptop-ish kind of thing that they send the signal to. And then they use, like, a Starlink or something like that, or a phone as a modem, basically. And then they have another phone where they have the chat on. And then they will have, like, a GoPro or DJI or something like that is connected to the device that sends the signal to their home computer, or that is sending, you know, that is a computer that's then tethered to the phone, basically. But then again, if you want to use your phone, you have to use a decent phone. You can't buy a a $5 used phone. Oh, Lema is not alone. He's getting sex by his couch. Like, nobody wants to sit and watch a live stream. Like, they can deal with connection issues, but even if there's a good connection and it's like 1440p, or not 1440p, it's like 480p fucking resolution because your phone is so old, nobody wants to sit and watch that. Like, it's like video quality from like the 80s or something like that. So if you are using your phone, you need like a somewhat modern phone for the quality to be good enough. And in that case, it's cheaper to just buy like a action cam or something like that. Heck, you could probably even fucking just use a webcam if you really, really wanted to. But they probably are not that good in the outdoors environments. That's what I said. You can stream to remote locations, but then you can't do anything. You are in the mercy of that remote location unless you have a person that can fix shit for you if something goes wrong. Because if you lose connection, you can't fix anything. Or let's say you want to change the volume or something, you have to remote into your computer from where you are. If you don't have anyone, you can say, hey, can you fix the, Which someone do, they have like a moderator that are remoting into their computer. So they tell the moderator to fix stuff on their streaming computer for them. Like it's a you can buy streamer bags now, but they are super expensive. I think they're like a few $1,000. And they are purposely built to IRL streaming. But of course, you can make your own solution a little bit cheaper. But there's so many issues with it. Connection issues, stability issues, of course. Well, a lot of the hardware that you would use is not being tested to run like that, so it may overheat, it may break. There's a lot of cable issues when you see IRL streamers. So I watched a lot of people bicycling around. So they have a lot of, cable issues and weather issues with the hardware. Either overheating or getting wet. It sounds super simple, something you should just be able to do because you can go out and record, a TikTok video or something like that, or an Insta reel, but it's super different. And you need a super, like if you are using your mobile phone. So I have well, it's not only your phone that gets hot, it's like all the equipment that you have to carry that around. So most people put it in a backpack. That means that there is no really ventilation. So a lot of that hardware that's in your backpack could get overheated. Your phone is probably the one getting least overheated because you have that outside. It's everything else you have in your backpack. It's so bad that people have put fans, computer fans in their backpack and cut holes in it to have circulation in them. Yeah, it's not that fucking easy, but it's super interesting. But yeah, then you have to think about bandwidth. Like I'm lucky enough. I have like a decent. So I did a calculation with the plan I have on my tablet SIM card. I can probably stream for about 2 hours or 3 hours. On decent quality to YouTube, because YouTube don't allow you to stream too much bandwidth. So they are recommending about 3,000 to 4,000 kilobits per second. Well, that's what people do. They have either side bags or they have a container on the back of their bicycle. But most of them will have a backpack on because that means that they can, if they're not bicycling, they can still record while they're walking around and showcasing stuff and stuff like that. So they don't need their bicycle. So most just use a backpack because then you're mobile. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, I would really like to do it. Because you get the best of it. You get out, you get about, you can showcase things to people, and you don't just sit on your fat ass all day. There's a guy that walks around Tokyo. So he has a backpack with like a action cam on his shoulder, and he just walks around Tokyo and talking. And sometimes he walks with other people. Go get to eat, go get some drinks and stuff like that. And he would do it at night, in the morning, and it's actually really, really interesting. Like, he tries to go get like 20k steps in a day. He just walks around. And he's sending the signal to his computer at home. And he's the one that has a mod remoting into his computer. So if he needs something done, he can fix it. The meta classes are not... The problem with meta classes and phones is that, well, the quality. The lens is not that big. So if you want a good quality, you need at least... Like, the phone has to be not more than 5 years old. In my opinion. If you want to record from it. And you're probably better set price-wise with a GoPro or like, and you don't need the newest GoPro. You can get like one on sale. And they will give you way better durability, way better battery life, way better everything for less money. Or a DJI, whatever it is. Well, you can get around the overheating of a GoPro. Yeah, but the quality of the meta classes is bad. Like, look at how small the lens is. And you also kind of want a wide lens lens when you're, because then the viewers can see as much as possible, you know. It's just like the matter of fact is you can't get away with too crappy gear, and it all nobody wants to sit and watch a live stream of nature if you can only see like 1 meter ahead, and the width of the picture is 1 meter because it's pixelated like nobody's business, you know. But Insta360 could also be another one. That's also I've looked at DJI and Insta360s because they are even cheaper than a GoPro, and a lot of times they're actually better than a GoPro. Yeah, Ubuntu phone is an Android. Yeah. Well, you could technically do a 360 stream, yeah. But like, let's say you're taking a train ride. Yes, you could use your phone on the train to record that, or you know, because you're not moving around so much, and you don't need, you know, you're inside, so that, hey, you know, and you can just plug it into a outlet. It's more the outside part that requires like decent fucking. Well, you don't stream in 5K. you can choose what you want to record in. So typically they would do 1080 60. That's like the norm nowadays. Either 1440 60 or 1080p 60. Not 1440, 720 60 or 1080 60. Because again, if you do it too high quality, you also get into limitations with bandwidth and stuff like that. And whatnot. Like you don't need like Hollywood quality, but you also don't need like Nokia 90s quality. You know, it has to be so it's decent to look at, or else nobody wants to watch it. It's the same with like webcams. If you're doing YouTube, you don't need like a fucking $10,000 webcam or like what is it called, DSLR cam. But on the other hand, you don't need like the $10 from Timo cam either. You can get away with a decent cam for decent price for a long time. Well, it's not so much that most people watch in 1080p. It's the signal that you send that's the important part. It's your recording of it that's the important part. Because you can record in 1080p that's basically just 380 upscaled, basically. Which would look crappy. Or you can stream in 1080p and it's 4K downscale that will look amazing. So it all has to be... It's not so much... When it comes to viewership, it's not so much what the viewer does. It's how you give them the signal that matters the most. That's the most important thing. And the better you can give a signal, the better the viewing experience will be in any format. So if you're streaming in 1440p or 4K and you're downscaling to 1080p, that means 720p would be good. 1480 or 480 will be good than if you were streaming in 480 and upscaling to 1080p. You'll get a massive difference in video quality by downscaling than upscaling, for example. What the fuck is this music? And also, if the streaming platform has limited bandwidth that they allow you to use, nobody wants to see a 4K like 10 kilobits per second live stream. It's too much picture for the live stream. It's just going to look awful. In Death Standing. I never played that game. I bought it, I played it for like 10 minutes and I refunded it. It was that bad. Yeah, go outside and do your thing, man. Yeah, I'm just like, I just, this is too much money for just walking around. Like, way too much money for just walking around. I not like. Didn't PS5 give it away at some point? Like, didn't they give it as part of their membership thingy? Or I could again be mistaken. You bought it used. I'm just, I don't know, I could be mistaken, of course. I just thought I heard that they were. It could also be on another platform. I don't fucking know. I could be wrong. Yeah, like I said, I bought it on Steam and then I just like, fuck you. Fuck you. Like, it's not even a game. Like, well, it's kind of a movie in a game format. It's like one of those games where you do quick time events, just a little bit more advanced, more or less. It looked good though. But yeah, it's weird. Oh, rocking is super fun, yeah. What are you trying to sell me here, you fool? Yeah, they got fooled by the Half-Life bullshit, yeah. People are so gullible, man. Well, anyway, it's it for me now. I need to get up early tomorrow and do some fucking adulting on a Sunday, yay. So I will leave you, and then I will go and play some games before I go to bed. Waste my time with some games. But yeah, sleep well or whatever. Have a good day. See you later.